Hello and welcome to Stardew Valley in Minecraft, a new series where I build the world of Stardew Valley in Minecraft, one area at a time. Last episode we completed the town with the community center and the Jojo Mart. This episode is gonna be quite a bit different than the other ones. However, we're still gonna be building actually a massive addition, bigger than the last one probably, at least when you consider the size of the addition. This time, however, I'm not going to add a singular building and the area around it. No, I'm going to add the entire area of the mountains. And as you can see right now, there is a bit of an area over here with lots of trees. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove all of this and it's gonna be covered by a giant piece of land and mountains. And of course we're gonna make a lake in the middle here as well, and of course we're gonna be building Linus's tent and a few other small things, like all of the small details for sure. However, we're not gonna be building the carpenter today. I also won't be building the adventurers guild or the mines. That will all be in future episodes. However, today will be a massive landmass extension, and it will also add a beautiful sightline on the horizon when we're walking around in the town. Now, I might not need to gather 1500 different materials, but I do need a lot of stone and grass. And oh my goodness, I ran out of grass last episode, so I'm gonna have to go digging quite a bit. So let's go digging for a bit, alright? As you see, I also put in a few fishes in the aquarium, not including myself, of course. And I should also add a little bit of grass in here. There we go. That just adds a little bit of texture, right? Let's put that one a little bit higher. There we go. Just a little bit of greenery in the aquarium, making it feel nice and alive. Well, I gathered some materials, like I said, and now I think it's time to do some building. Most of the materials I need are gonna be a lot of dirt, grass, moss, and all that stuff. And also over here we have deep slate, tuff, some cobble, some mossy cobble, of course the dead coral that I use. We have a lot of snow, andesite, diorite. We're gonna be using so many materials in this mountain. It's gonna be a big one. I hope that I have enough grass and dirt for this because I need so much. Now behind me you still see a bunch of trees. As I mentioned earlier, we don't really need those trees, and we're gonna be covering up the area in a mountain anyway. But yeah, I do need some wood, so I might as well cut these down, right? So are we ready for some deforestation? Now would you look at that? This is much better. No trees, and I'm obviously gonna cover this whole thing with a mountain. However, I wanted to do this so that I can easily light this. Oh, of course it starts to rain right now. But yeah, I can easily light it now and walk around just like it did in this part here that is now beautifully covered with all this land. We're going to do the exact same thing, and we're going to light all of this so there's no mobs spawning underneath the mountain. And then in the future, if I do not have enough grass for building this mountain, I can just go ahead and dig it all up. Before I start the time lapse, let me remind you of the stretch goal of this series. Once we reach 10,000 subscribers, I will be adding Ginger Island as a follow-up to this series. So if you're enjoying this series and it sounds exciting to you, please consider subscribing. Now, without further ado, let's actually construct this thing, shall we? This is gonna take a while, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Wow, wow, wow. What a view. Look at this. We have these beautiful mountain peaks and a ton of trees in the background. Of course, there is still a lot of detail to be added around this waterfall here. Of course, it starts to rain. It always starts to rain. But yeah, that is such a view. Look at that. And it just clouds the mountains in fog as well. This is absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to build some more. Because even though this is, for now, everything that we're going to add with these mountains, as you can see here on the right, this is where the quarry will be. And so this side is a little empty still, and we're going to have to connect that to the quarry. And maybe in the back we'll add another mountain to sit in between these two. Maybe it's going to be a little bit smaller or a little bit more flat. And then, of course, here in the back there will be the spa. And that's kind of where this section of the map is left off at. Of course, this path walks around Robin, the carpenter, over here. And then once you've passed the carpenter here, this is where we have a little staircase that goes in between the cliff on the right here and the cliffs on the left to the spa. Now this cliff is, as you can see, still a little bit unfinished, as is this one over here. That's something that I'll get to in just a little bit. Here, the cliffs, I wanted to leave out some of the detail because I was going to just do that afterwards. These are very simple, straightforward cliffs. The mountain itself, I wanted to put in some more detail because I was struggling with the shape of the mountain. I do like what I have here, although that I'm not 100% a fan of everything about it. I do absolutely love the view that we have from around here with all the trees, and the beautiful mountains in the back. Makes it so very nice. And then of course I already added a few details here in the lake. A few of these beautiful cattails and some lily pads. We got some small bridges going over the river. And then of course we have some points where the water is coming out of the mountain. I added a few berry bushes because I do want to have those around the world in a few places where we can forage for food. So berries will be an easy to collect forage. Just like that. Then of course this section isn't done yet. I need to add a bit more mud and the spruce just like I usually do and connect that back up to the rest of the river, and then of course finish up these cliffs, add a bit more cliffs on this side. So there is still a lot to do. Now with regards to buildings, I am of course not going to be adding too many buildings here. Now this is of course the empty spot for the carpenter. However, I won't be doing that today. That will be another episode on its own because that involves some redstone projects, like unlocking a bunch of buildings on the player's farm or even some house upgrades. However, this path up here leads to Linus's tent, and I think that is something that we can add. It's a small little detail with a little campfire and a few small things around it. It shouldn't be a lot of effort. We can put that in here. Of course, everything is going to need to be bone meal, so we have some tall grass going around. Then, if we come over here, this is the entrance to the mine. For now, without any details, of course, also gonna be another future episode, because the mine will be many layers deep with tons of features, so it's not something I'm gonna be building today. Especially since all these trees, the lake, and these mountains took a lot of work already. And then last but not least, the other feature here in the mountains is this empty spot here where the adventuring guild is supposed to go. That is something that I haven't built or designed yet, and that is going to be in another future episode. Here we have another bridge, and this will lead all the way over to the quarry. Of course, right now it leads to nothing. That will be a future extension of this area. And if you're interested to see the look from the mountain top, something that you won't really be seeing from the game itself, but look at that. We've got ourselves a beautiful view over everything we've built so far. And I can't believe how far we've already gotten. It's crazy. There's so much stuff here, and there is a lot more to come. So with that said, I think it's time that we go ahead and detail all of the remaining cliffs. Yeah, so with their small little river section, I tried to keep the mud underneath the water. It does look a little bit too green if I compare it to this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these lowest bits of moss into mud and see how that looks. There we go. I think that is already a lot better. We have a bit of brown on both sides now. I adjusted this slope a little bit to not be as steep. And yeah, I think I'm pretty happy about this. All we need to do now is detail all the cliffs and then of course bone meal everything. So yeah, let's go ahead and continue with detailing the cliffs. Let's also put up a few lights, right? I've been forgetting about that a little bit. Now, of course, this spot, like I mentioned earlier, is going to have a little tent here, because this is where Linus lives. And so I brought a couple of materials to build with. First of all, we're going to be building a little campfire somewhere around here. We're going to have a few seats around there, something like so. And then we're going to build a little tent. Let's see, we'll probably have the entrance around here somewhere. Somewhere right around the campfire. And then we'll have 2 layers of that. Then we'll finish it up with little trapdoor there. We have some slabs, and then on the other side we do the same thing. Then in the back we're going to be putting some shelves down. Of course, some of the floor we can take out. And we're going to be filling some of this with some more goodies. Oh, actually, it's only 3 shelves because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to putting a crafter table right there. Yes. And what did I have here again? Was that the... Oh, there was a log. Do I have one? I should have a log. Because Linus keeps a little bit of wood in his tent, you know, to burn on the campfire. So that represents that. So that is pretty much everything. We do have a little detail on the ground where we put a little book he reads, right? There we go. Keeps a little book down there. And then in front of the tent, as a last little detail, we put, and then because of the trapdoor, we can put one there, and there it is. We have our small, beautiful tent for Linus. Now, we have one small detail left. I'm going to put a barrel here. I feel like that's a place where you can store some stuff. And we need a couple of spruce fences. Because this is like how you pin down the tent into the ground, right? I just imagine there being wires into the corner of the tent, and these are like the pins that you put in the ground. There we go. I love it. We have the campfire, of course, and then if you go in here, it's a small cozy place with a bed. Of course, this is very cramped. In real life, this would be not as cramped. This fits well enough, I think. And then we have a little book and some wood. Nice and minimalistic, as Linus would like it. Now, I don't know about you, but I am in love with this place. I just want to move in right here. Let's go ahead and build a cabin right here and move in. I mean, not really, of course, but this is such a beautiful place. And just being able to look at it from all of these angles, this is probably one of my favorite angles, to have both of these with some trees around. And if we turn on shaders, we have this beautiful glow on the mountains as well. It is such a nice place. Now in this episode I showed you of course the final result of these mountains and the lake and the trees and everything, but I'm wondering if you guys are interested to see the process of me fiddling around with the different iterations of getting to the mountain the way it is now, with the colors and the shapes and everything. Because I think it would be very interesting to show you this, so please do let me know in the comments if you would like to see this kind of a video, because in the future I would like to do a couple more videos also with regards to the interiors and the building designs, to give you an insight in the iterations that happened before the final product. So yeah, I think that's it for this episode. I would say that is a lot of progress done. What do you think? Is this like 50% of the work for this area? Maybe, because we have the mines, we have the Adventurers Guild, and we have the Carpenter left, which all involve some redstone. So yeah, next episode we're gonna go ahead and fill in this area. This is gonna be where the Carpenter's building is going to be, where Robin, Demetrius, Maru, and Sebastian live. And where you can buy upgrades for your house and build farm buildings. Or in our case, you will unlock them. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this episode. So I hope you really enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I hope to see you in the next episode.